ẹjọ́ ẹ bá wa bẹ̀ wọ́n kọ́ reduce yẹ.
That's what we are not here for violence. Let them know we are not happy. You know, once we get to food, come on, you want to kill us then? Come on now. Once we get to food, you want to kill us. We are not asking for good road. We are not asking for any other thing, just food.
We are even disappointed.
No. Disappointed is understatement now. Disappointed is understatement. Enough is enough.
All right, voices of some Nigerians on the street yesterday as they embarked on the day one nationwide protest, and we've been having feelers and stories from the happenings in various parts of the country. It's 9:37. I welcome you to the From the Daily segment on AM Update on Solutions 93.9 FM. My name is AJISOPE. LAFENWA. This is the segment where we get to take you through the major stories, or let me say the trending stories, in some of today's national dailies. And as usual, I've got comrade AYODEJI, AJISOPE.
Yes, a good morning. Well, is it a good morning? I'm not so sure about that anymore.
Well, okay. Well, looking at the stories, not so good stories on the pages of newspapers this morning. I have about 5 newspapers. I've got the Punch newspaper, I've got the Nation newspaper, I've got the Nigerian Tribune, I've got the Guardian, and of course, the Vanguard newspapers. Looking at the first newspaper, looking at now the Punch newspaper, the biggest story on the front page of the Punch newspaper says, hunger protests, 17 feared killed as firms, others count huge losses. And riders under that, we have this one saying 10 killed in Niger, Borno, 7 in Kano, others, FD complex looted. APC Secretariat raised, OPS counts losses as banks, ports, officers shot. FD begs protesters, NBA offers free legal services. And on the front page of the Punch newspaper, there are pictures of protesters with different banners and different descriptions venting out of their grievances to the government. Okay, away from that, this one saying FCE Governing Council removes provost, appoints replacement. That story is found on page 6 of the Punch newspaper. House help admits killing Justice Ajumo Gobia's daughter. Police source. Police arrest 6 exhumed body of Ekiti Varsity ex-DVC. Dangote refinery to gulp 1.7 trillion naira crude monthly. Still taking stories from the front page of the Punch newspaper, AFDB okays $500 million fresh loan for Nigeria. Ribado's men abduct Punch photographer, steal camera belongings. And the last one, 30 million GSM lines not properly linked to NIN Telecos. Away from the Punch newspaper, let's take a look at the Nation newspaper. On the front page of the Nation newspaper, I have this one saying peaceful protest in Lagos, Rivers, Plateau, Oyo, Osun, and riders under that curfew in Kano, Borno, Yobe. 11 killed in 4 states. No protest in Ekiti, Ebonyi, Abia, Anambra, Kwara, Kogi, Kebbi, Akwa Ibom, Benue, Ondo. And I have another one saying police disperse demonstrators in Abuja. And still talking about the stories of the protester yesterday, inside looting in Kano, Edo, Gombe, violence in Kano, Gombe, Borno, Niger, Yobe, Jigawa, Tinubu, Wike meet, police station raised in Abuja, APC Secretariat burnt in Dutse. Police won't tolerate anarchy, says IG. Sanwo-Olu calls for normalcy. Other stories are found on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. Economy suffers multi-billion naira losses today of protest. Okay, and this one saying Olujimi's son Ubani, 85 others become SANs. Away from the Nation newspaper, let's take a look at the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Security agencies have identified senator as sponsor of protest, Wike alleges. That is trading blames here. IGP places all commands units on red alert to prevent further violent protest. And on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, there is a picture of protesters in Abuja on Thursday. I thought Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, was bragging that there would not be any protest in Abuja. I mean, he was speaking as if he had the entire people in Abuja in his palms.
Abrasive character.
Because looking at the way he was speaking a few days ago,
Did you believe
I probably thought he was still in Rivers State. He probably thought he was still. He doesn't know that it's a different ball game in Rivers and FCT.
People get carried away by public office and the adulation.
I mean, instead of appealing to people, you're saying that nobody will come out.
That was irresponsible. You know, people.
I expected him to have appealed to people at least to calm down.
People who purport to lead us, they think they are emperors. They think that because they are impossible, I don't think they understand what is expected of a leader. They don't.
Okay, still taking stories on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Hardship protest, chaos in Kano, Nasarawa, Kaduna, Yobe, Niger, Abuja. That's recorded. Governors impose 24-hour curfew in Kano, Borno, Yobe. Hoodlums burn APC secretariat in Jigawa. Protesters storm Buhari's house in Daura. Suffer tear gas at Lekki. Peaceful protest in Oyo, Kebbi, Benue, Osun Plateau. Quite a number of riders on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune under that biggest story, and I'm still taking some of them. Kogi, Kwara, Southeast Cam, pro-anti-Tinubu marches held in Adamawa. Protesters demand reduction in fuel price, electricity tariff. Away from protest stories, I have this one saying, Atiku condemns genocidal campaign for Igbos to leave Lagos Southwest. Police confirm 9 dead, 20 injured in Borno IED attack. 87 lawyers named senior advocate of Nigeria. PDP to Tinubu, review your strangulating policies now. Okay, let me move away from the Nigerian Tribune and let's take other newspapers. I have this one from the Guardian newspaper. Many pictures of protesters in different parts of the country. Concerns as protests turn violent in North. Governors impose curfew. That story is found on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper this Friday morning. Cost of healthy diet rises by 45% in 6 months. Ondo Ekiti residents shun protests. Low turnout in Ogun. 8 die in Jigawa, Niger as protesters raise APC secretariat. Review harsh economic policies, address Nigerians, PDP tells Tinubu. Nigerians accuse NCC telcos of internet blockade. And the last one I'll be taking on the front page of the Guardian newspaper says CPPE calls for suspension of protest as stock market sheds 235 billion naira. And let me take the last newspaper now. That is the Vanguard newspaper. Protest 14 killed in AJISOPE, Kano, Borno declare curfew. Quite a number of riders under that, which I would like to skip for now. Security agencies uncover senator sponsoring Abuja protest, Wike. And as usual, as expected, there are pictures of protesters in different parts of the country on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper as well. Protesters, commercial activities halted as pro-anti-government groups clash in Lagos. Page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. NBA sets up free legal help desk for protesters. And the last one I'll be taking says LPPC elevates Ubani Onduka, Professor OK. 84 others to SAN rank. Now, having read the headlines on the major newspapers we have this morning, let's go straight to the analysis. Now, Comrade AYODEJI, AJISOPE.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been reported in virtually all the papers this morning that eventually, after all said and done, the protest turned violent in some parts of the country with lots of lives, about 14, some recording 17 lives lost. Like Dapo was asking the other time, did you expect this to degenerate into this?
That was the fear I had. And I think that was and still the fear many people had. We have seen this happen in this country before, over and over again. You know, those with good intentions, those who are aggrieved, genuinely so, Nigerians in their millions, tens of millions, but elements within the ones that my father used to call harvesters of ruins. They will see this as an opportunity. And to do what? To make the government in place look bad. And the only way to do that is to unleash mayhem. Because any bloodshed, that occurs, injury to people who are protesting, legitimately so, that occurs, will be laid at the footsteps of the police. And when it is laid at the footsteps of the police, it will be automatically become a burden and a cross for the government.
Now, despite the large deployment of forces, security forces to different parts of the country, one would have expected that stories like this, like APC Secretariat being raised, vandalization taking place, it's so much that some governments have imposed curfew. Are we going to say that the security forces, the security agencies were not really up to the task, or they undermined what they were going to expect from the protesters? Or they were, let me use the word, overwhelmed. Were they overwhelmed?
Well, I would not say they were overwhelmed, Look, for instance, in Abuja and in some other states, there were court orders. Those court orders were gotten by the state government, attorney generals, and those court orders were not adhered to. Of course, the police, the security agencies will have plan A, plan B, and all of that. But you see, how many policemen do we have active? And you see, I was telling, I think it was you and that, but I was telling that way back in 1983, the Nigerian police force under Sunday Adewusi had water cannons, to disperse crowds. In 41 years after, we were still firing tear gas. Look at it. In Kenya, we were using water cannons most of the time. Hot water cannons, to disperse the crowd. So we have not upgraded, but thankfully we have we have not upgraded. Even in 1983, we had hot water cannons in the Nigerian police force, to contain and manage crowd, protesters, rioters, and all of that. And 40 years after, all we can do. Did you see anything like that? Just have tear gas being fired. That's
Now let's go a
terrible.
bit. I want us to go a bit deeper now. Senator Shehu Sani made a statement a few hours ago that why was the protest in the north turned so violent, and there were no protests in some parts of the south, east, and the southwestern state. And he was asking questions that why the northerners, why did it have to take it that far? That even during the 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari, there was nothing of such. Now, I think he's trying to say that probably they are trying to politicize the whole thing. Looking at the way the violence, because it's like the violence actually took place only in the north.
Well, you
with the loss of lives.
We're going to be deceiving ourselves. And I'm not going to deceive myself, in spite of the fact that I'm on air, that there are, colorations. People have been saying it even before it started. There are clearly, people in Nigeria, that is the way we are. That is our reality. Yoruba man and Igbo man, Hausa, there's even no Hausa Fulani now. It is Hausa or Fulani. So you see all of this. That is even bad enough that we are ignoring other nationalities. That other nationalities have to now queue up behind either you are Yoruba or Hausa Fulani or Igbo. You understand? That is bad enough. But I do not wish to outrightly subscribe. But these are questions that should be interrogated. So Shehu Sani said that in the days of Yaradua and Muhammadu Buhari, there were no
demonstrations
supported. There are no protests that were supported in the northern parts. And then in the days of Jonathan and this gentleman, the fellow here now, that demonstrations. And he noted one fact, that every demonstration against any grievance in Nigeria had always been supported by the Southwest, whether it is even one of their own. You understand? And that why is it that there is no demonstration at all in the Southeast? Well, people should interrogate that. People should interrogate why that is happening, and find answers to it. This brings to the fore, the fault lines. The fault lines in Nigeria has to be addressed. If this nation, and I'm going to put this out bluntly there, if this nation is going to mature into a union, and a formidable one at that, we have to address our fault lines. Those fault lines have been with us before in the pre-independence, and they were addressed by the Constitution that was given to us, that was fashioned out by Nigerians themselves, those who are involved in the struggle for independence. That Constitution was fashioned out to address these fault lines. But the military came and thought they could wield Nigeria together through decrees, military decrees. Obasanjo and those who followed thought they could wield Nigeria together by ideas of ethnic balancing, quota system, and asking some people to come to the same class at scoring 200, while others have to score 250 and some have to score 180. You don't decree unity. And one way to address this is to confront the issues of unity. And how do we move this country forward? Believe you me, those who have been talking, I don't like that word at all. This issue of restructuring, that is not it. People think the moment we reconfigure Nigeria politically, that is the end. The issue runs deeper.
But now we've spoken about the North now, the role they played in this protest. Now, can we absorb the South?
Look, let me tell you, the suffering in the North is way worse than what is happening elsewhere in this country.
But can we absorb some southwestern states like Ondo, Ekiti, where there were no protests? Do we say that people in that part of the country
are not feeling
the pain?
They must have been persuaded by whatever arguments. Look, when I hear people say I saw the IGP saying it too. Even Nigerians, the so-called educated, saying people are destroying government property. What's the meaning of government property?
Governments don't have
It is not government property. These are public properties. Property that belong to you and I, each and every one of us. But we operate with a mentality. And you saw the IGP too talking about loyal to government. Loyalty is not to government. Loyalty is to the Nigerian state. But you see, that is our mental default location. Each and every one of us, at least most of us.
Okay, now since we are talking about the security, we need to talk about the handling of the security forces as regards this protest. And I think it's a convenient time for us to introduce our security expert. We have a security expert joining us live in the studio this morning.
Yes, expert, security expert, analyst this morning is Mr. Donald Michael Adeniji. He's a life coach, security analyst, professional mediator, and a mediation trainer. We welcome you most warmly to our studio this morning, the Don Michael Adeniji.
Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning,
presenters. Thank you very much for having me. I'm really honored.
Okay, all right. Now, let's look at the way the security forces have been able to handle the day one of this protest. Would we say that they were being overwhelmed? I mean, looking at the brouhaha, the violence that are reported in the north that led to loss of lives and some places being looted, public property being destroyed.
Well, let's take it. Let's give it to the people who are on the street. It is not easy at a security situation to plan ahead for what to expect. You can just try to say, last year there was a protest, we did this. You don't know what this year is going to be about, because they're talking about human being in a group.
Okay.
People generally believe that when human being are in a group, they can always do stupid things. That is why our democracy is a suspect. Because a group of people, when people come together, the only thing you have is anarchy. And especially when they're hungry. In the Nigerian situation, no security force in the world can stop people who are ready to move out and fight. That is what is happening. Well, the security situation, our security men, the only thing I'll give them kudos for this time is a lot of restraint have been in place. The IGP words have been followed a little bit, most of the time. That's what we say. And that is why we have lesser amount of mortality on this time, because I see a lot of officers coming out and respecting the word of the IGP on supporting the protesters, guiding them away from doing bad things. But in some areas, there's no way the policemen can be on the road at all times. Because we have our statistics of policemen to Nigerian is about 1 to 800. One policeman cannot control about 800 people. So we have that shortage of personnel, and that is telling on us. That's why you see in some area you have people going haywire, but I think they've been able to manage some of them properly. We have seen yesterday, but we don't know if there's going to be a today and how today is going to be. That is what we are looking forward to.
But there were reports in Abuja which we saw the clips of police officers firing tear gas canisters at harmless and peaceful protesters. Are we going to say that they handled it professionally?
A picture or video always tells one story. It tells the story you want it to tell. You understand? Sometimes you see reactions, and that is what is captured in the clip, and we judge from that. We did not know the full story because we were not on ground at that point. We only saw when the police started firing canisters. We didn't know what happened pre that period. So in me judging situation, I always want to get the full information.
Okay.
What happened before these canisters were being thrown? You saw what happened in Kano, where the NCC office was looted. You see, if after the looting, policemen were shooting canister, and we saw the picture of the canister, we would say policemen were being high-handed. We wouldn't have known what happened before this happened. So I want us to look at the situation. They are still developing. We are not getting full information yet. We cannot say the police were wrong. We cannot say they are right. Because I know if there's the area where they show us, the central area in Abuja, I think the 3-arm zone was where they were firing the canister.
Yeah.
That was the seat of government.
Yeah.
The Aso Rock is just on the left. You have the Federal Secretariat, the Judiciary, and the National Assembly. So that is our national asset.
All within the vicinity.
Yes. That is our major national asset. We don't know what the protesters were doing. If you take your mind back to some 5-6 years ago, our chief of staff was jumping fence at the State House of Assembly, at the National Assembly, during the protest.
Yeah.
So if some of these people were trying to jump in fence into some building, they have to be restrained. And the only way the police can do that is to use tear gas to disperse the crowd.
Are there no other means to disperse crowd?
It depends on
Apart
the
from, because tear gas, when it's being shot, it could injure, actually.
That is if tear gas is shot directly at the people. The way tear gas is shot in an arc. It's shot over their head into the crowd.
What happened to the use of water cannon? Hot water cannon?
It depends on the kind of
Has it
crowd.
been used in other countries?
Let's be realistic with ourselves. It depends on the kind of crowd you are facing. Water cannon is water cannon. It's a straight water to a group of people which you have to start rotating. But if you have a large crowd which are coming to you and you know that your strength is not enough to manage it, that was what tear gas is for. To make them disperse. Tear gas is not to kill. It doesn't really kill. But we know that everything that is being used that have a propelling force can kill.
Definitely.
That is when the policeman decides to be mischievous. But if it is used appropriately, it is used everywhere in the world to disperse crowd. And for a large crowd, it is more effective because if you got down, you feel uncomfortable, you run for cover.
Yeah, okay. Now, apparently we do not have enough policemen in this country because the police globally is the primary agency responsible for internal security. We don't have to bring in NSCDC, bring in the Army, the Air Force into internal security. What are the implications of this?
Well, the first thing we have to look at is, what are the policies of security? You see, we have refused to admit to ourselves that the time has come for people-oriented security policies. The state still want to stay in that environment. They lock policies that states should control the means of violence. But we have come to a point where state cannot even afford to manage the security for the people. The federal government, because most of them are afraid when the Amotekun issue came up, one of the fear was that it was going to be used to become an independent state. The Yoruba people might decide to fight for their independence using the Amotekun. Because we are afraid of ourselves in this country. The government is afraid of the people are afraid of the government, and then we have a system where we cannot tell each other the truth again. Anytime we come to say the truth, we know that managing our environment in security cannot be possible without a people-oriented program. Because the people are the basis of security. If you are going to design security for me, I should be part of the security for it to work. So until our people come to realize that, and the government too come to realize that, the government have refused to realize that, you can't have enough security to block people in their houses. But you can have people security that you can talk to that will reach out to everybody in 5 minutes if the people are involved in your security planning. You don't need IGP to come on the news and start announcing if there's a system in place where you can reach out to everybody at the right time. If you have a people-oriented policing, policemen who are in charge of people units in each area can easily reach out to the people and discuss with them. And they can plan security for that area without resorting to somebody in Abuja.
Now, this is supposed to be a 10-day affair. First day, we saw 17 people down, projecting, and with the benefit of the NSAS saga in the backdrop. What are your projections? Day one, 17 people down. A policeman allegedly shot and killed, and I saw policemen this morning. When you are mourning, you wear black armbands. The policemen I saw this morning,
I saw them in red armbands.
Are wearing red armbands. What's that? What does that signify going forward?
Well, the red armband is not part of the police accoutrement.
Okay.
I have to first say that.
Okay.
Either red, yellow, or blue.
Okay.
The Nigerian police does not issue armband to police officers. So that's the first thing we have to first talk about. Policemen in Nigeria decide to wear so many things that are not part of their accoutrement. And because of lack of supervision, we have all these things happening. I believe the policeman that is wearing armband is wearing it because maybe he thinks he's going to war.
Oh, wow.
And that is against the policy of policing, even for these protests. The IGP has told them, your job is to guide the people, restrict them from doing bad things, not fight them. You see, we've gotten a culture of police elitism that has been bad for our country. You know, our police believe that the poor people are fighting the government. They believe that the poor people are the one they are supposed to stop while they support the rich. Because we've gotten a police system that came from the white people.
The colonial master.
Yes, the Hausa battalion that was set up in the 19th century to 20th century to support the colonialists in Lagos, where Hausa people brought from the north to come to Lagos and suppress the Yoruba people. So this is where the police and the Nigerian army came from. From beginning, our police were not structured for the people. They were structured for the elite. That's why you see that the elite have so many police guiding them, and then the poor have no police guiding them.
Is that why we have a force?
You begin to wonder.
Is that why we have a force behind the name of the Nigeria police?
Yes. Well, the first issue, the first issue was because of our liking of what is called force. Everything in Nigeria is attached to force. No, seriously. Because we believe that the police is supposed to suppress the people. That's where the force came in.
And probably that's what is affecting the psyche of some of the officers too.
That's it. That's where they got the culture from. Their culture is that, you see, if you look at it, the environment determines how the police work. If you go to America, the American police evolved from the slave patrols. They were the one that chased all these all these slaves that ran away from the plantations. That was where the American police started off from. And because they started off from there, they've always had this hatred of the black because they are the slaves. So it takes a long time to rearrange the psyche. The same thing with Africa here. Our policies start from the court messenger that were used to suppress the local people. The police that the colonial master used to collect taxes. So, you see, we have a culture in Nigeria, we have a class system. They say we don't have class. We have. We have the rich, then we have the force, then we have the middle class, and then the poor. You see, the police believe they are above, they are immediately after the elite, the rich. That's what the police, everybody believe they are. That's why when you see they call you bloody civilians. Because to them, you are the bottom rung of the ladder. So we have this challenge, We have this challenge that has perpetrated our policing. The people don't trust the police. the police believe they are supposed to suppress the people.
Okay.
So it has gone like that for a very long time. So that is why we said we need to change this police. We need to reform the police. We need to get the people involved. And when the people that are police want to talk, they'll say this is a security matter. When they say it's a security matter, they said, go out. We want to discuss security matter. Who are you securing? You are securing me. You want to discuss the process of securing me, and you're excluding me. How will it work? So policies on policies are made by people who don't even know who they are guiding. And the people who they are guiding does not even know what is the plan of the police. So at every point in time, the people are at their own side, planning their own thing. The security forces are at their own side, planning their own thing. And because it has become lucrative to militarize things in Nigeria, if they tell you, okay, we are holding a rally here, they will say security, we need money for security. Because it has become a business to talk about security in Nigeria. People don't want other people to come into it. I told you that in America, policing starts from slave drives. But policing over the years has been changed by people who are in the academics. The academic design policy for the police, for the army, and they move together in the same line today. That is why you see more human approach to policing coming out of those economy, those sides. In our side there, everything is security. You see that the SS security is a retired police officer. He's a man that has worked as a policeman all his life. And if you had given him a problem and said, they are writing in Dugbe, he will say, give me men and gun. Because that is all he has done for 35 years. I want you to understand this. It's like getting a carpenter to come and work in a radio station. His solution is hammer and nail. You can't think of anything else. But our system have refused to evolve. And the reason why it refused to evolve is, for every time we are given opportunity to do a new thing, we bring an older person.
Is it not the managers of our systems that are not evolving?
Well, who are the managers of our system? Me and you. Today I'm sitting down here talking about government. Tomorrow I might be the chairman of my local government or the governor of my state. So we look at the top most of the time when we talk. You forget to look at the bottom. And it is the bottom that influences the top. Because let's change it today. Let's take out all these people and bring in new people. Where are we going to get the new people from?
Amongst us.
It's among us. We need to educate ourselves. How do we get this thing right?
Now, another issue that has been that is boiling in my mind is the issue of we've had general elections, and you see a large deployment of military men to forestall peace in an election. Is it an ideal thing?
What do you talk about? When you say election and you talk about peace?
General election.
Is election war before?
Is it the duty? My point is it the duty of the military men to be on the streets on election day to forestall peace? What is now the function of the police? Whose duty?
We just talked about it, that we don't have enough policemen to guide the country. So during election time, they are stretched to the limit. But the problem is not the election time. The problem is me and you. I and you. Why do we need so much policemen to do election? Why do we need a very cumbersome election process? Let me give you an example. I think I have had the opportunity of staying in like 4 countries. I've stayed in Italy, America, and the UK. I can remember that clearly. I entered the UK in 2010 as a student. And I rented a house. A week after that, the council sent me an envelope containing my voter's number. I didn't even know where the council was. Do you understand? They sent me an envelope containing my voter's number, my voter's unit, my voting point, everything I need to know about the election. And I voted 3 months down the line. I don't have to go and get the voter's card. I don't need anything. Where did I vote? I voted in a school very close to my house. Who were the electoral officer? The student of the school, secondary school.
Imagine.
I didn't need any propaganda. I didn't need anything to vote. We have to understand this. We ourselves drum up the drum of war. When the election is coming, we put in so much agitation, we put in so much trouble in the system that by the time we get to the election, the security people cannot exploit us.
Because we see it as more of a do or die affair.
No, because we have agitated the people. We have put a fear complex in everybody that this election is going to be hard. We need security for this election. The system, it is what it's creating all these things. We have refused to come around and understand that if we change the system, we don't need to spend so much money on the election. They say beavers, voters card, all these things. Why do we need all these things? Take the case of our passport system. I followed a friend in the US to go and get passport. A lady, she was in my house, said, I want to get my passport. I want to come to Nigeria with you. I thought we were going to somewhere important. She took me to a post office. We went to the nearest post office. She sat down there. They took her passport photograph. They put it in an envelope. They took her fingerprint there. They collected the birth certificate. And 2 weeks later, the passport came to the house. We didn't need to go to anywhere. We don't need to go to immigration office. We didn't even know who processed the thing. In Nigeria, I have to go to one office, queue, fight, struggle.
And probably settle.
And settle at the end of the day after all the struggle.
Going forward, the Dawn, Nigeria's police, the primary agency responsible for security. Going forward, what would you be putting forward?
Now, well, the first thing is, we all know that we need to reform the police. That's the first thing. We need people to understand what is the job.
Intelligence.
What is the job of the police? Look,
Okay.
if you don't understand what somebody's job is, how can you support them? Our people don't understand what the police is for, really. Because
Whose fault?
Because there has not been education on this. People see the police as the enemy of the people.
The police say, we are your friend.
The police see themselves as the boss of the people.
Not friends?
Not friends.
That's what they say.
But
That-
they keep saying
that
police
is
your
propaganda.
friend.
It's just like a lion saying the friend to the cougar. That's the thing. You got to get it right. The police see himself, when he wears that uniform, even when he's not wearing the uniform, the fact that he's a policeman, he look himself that he's a sub-notch above you. You're a bloody civilian. And why is policing changing in other countries? You're a policeman when you're on duty in America. When you go home, when you're off duty, you're not a policeman. The police rank are not rank that you wear it only officially. It is not a military rank. We don't understand all these things. Even road safety officers who are civil servants, when you address them, they'll say, I'm an officer.
Yes.
A drug enforcement officer, was going to be rude, and I said, oh, come off it. You, a drug enforcement officer,
And what
misbehaving.
He will tell you you are insulting an officer.
Which officer?
So you see, this mentality of militarizing every part of our life, we have to take it out first. And then get a people-oriented thing. What do the people in Lagelu local government want for their policing? The problem you have in every area are diverse. They are not related at all. If you go to some part, I'm talking of Lagelu, go to some part of Ofa.
Okay.
They have border crisis.
Is your suggestion looking like state policing?
State policing.
Or devolving below that?
We don't even, it's not just state. We need localized policing.
Community
to the local level. What we need
neighborhood associations controlling their own security.
That is it. They're being managed by a system above it.
Okay.
That's what we need. We don't want a system where a policeman that's giving instruction in Abuja is controlling problem in Dubai.
What about one in Ibadan controlling security in Okeho?
The same thing. That's how I'm just talking of the federal one.
In essence, you're saying decentralizing the system.
We've got to decentralize the system and break it down to the lowest unit. That is the only way to solve problem. You don't solve problem by sitting down in Alausa and commanding everybody in Lagos.
Can that require the incorporation of our traditional institutions?
What are we saying? That is what we are talking about. Every locality, design your security according to your need. The only thing you need is the state government might give you approval to run it. But let them run their security based on the challenges they have on ground. If they need rat trappers to be their security men, let them be their security men. Look at it. It's just that we don't put our mind to it. Policing in Nigeria is being carried out by several organizations already. If you go to our road, the park management system control everything we are doing. They are policing force. If you go to the market association control the markets. They are the policing force in that place already. If you come to your community, you have security guards in each street. You already have a policing system there.
So legalize it, give it the necessary backing.
Pull them together.
Framework.
Put a framework to manage them. That's what we're saying.
Framework.
That's all. They are already there. We're not saying tell them to start recruiting. The people are already doing the work. But without a legal framework, it is not going to work properly. We need to have a legal framework. You need to have control for them so that they know where their power is and where their power ends. What they can do, what they cannot do. Right now, you see the proliferation of arms on our street is so high. Because Vigilante is there, Vigilante Organization of Nigeria is there, OPC is there, this one is there, your security man in your street is carrying gun, you see somebody wearing slippers and wearing shorts and carrying 2 guns.
Dane guns.
Either Dane or pop action. And they are going. You don't even know who he is. You don't know what he is. You will be on Okada, you see them. There was a day I saw like 4 Okada pass my car. All of them carry gun. Three people on Okada.
We see them a lot.
Who is in charge of these people? Right now, they seem to be doing good. Election is coming. All these guns can be hired. If there are no proper regulation in place. This is what we are saying. We are just looking at the top. At the bottom, there are so many structures that are unstructured.
Now, day 1, 17 day. Day 2, going forward, what do you project?
I believe the hunger in the country is so high. It is either 2 ways. If this continue, the government will not be able to handle it. If this run into 4 or 5 days, because the
escalation.
Hunger, yes, the hunger will escalate the situation. Right before we start, we're already hungry. The people on the street are already hungry. If we continue to go on, my brother, we might find out a situation where the hungry started eating the fed. Because even if they cannot run into government houses, they cannot run to government building, there are rich people around who will be looted for food. But as I was coming out today, I see a lot of movement in Ibadan.
Yeah, which
so
is a better improvement.
A lot of improvement, even the market open. So I see there's a lot of pacifying. We are torn between people as a people. We are torn between 2 things. Do we destroy our environment for a government who have refused to build anything for us? Or do we continue to be hungry and say nothing?
2 extremes.
We are 2 extremes. So people want to fight. People are saying, if you fight, you are going to destroy the little we have. So it is now a case of a balance. Which one do we listen to?
A delicate balance.
Should we continue to be hungry and say nothing, or we go out and scatter everything for once and for all?
And I think this is where the government should step in, at least to douse the tension and at least address this agitations.
You were saying this. The government had a lot of time to do this. And we were doing all the wrong things. We were issuing ultimatum. We are issuing, don't do this, don't do that. The people who are in charge of managing this communication at the federal level, the local level, has been very, very bad at this. It's like this is not the Nigeria where we used to use propaganda to live.
No, you know,
we were not getting it right. You can't threaten the people. You can't. You can't threaten the people. That is what we have to first understand. We can talk to the people. We can appeal to people's emotion.
That's the word.
We can appeal to their emotion. We can appeal to their senses to please be sensible. But we can't just wake up and say, you can't do this. There's no way you will do this. A state government will not come out on the news and be saying we are budgeting certain amount of money for this protest. What we are talking about is cost of governance is too high in Nigeria. It wouldn't have been a problem if the governance is doing any governing at all. But the cost is keep rising. And then what did we see last month? The government increasing the ministries again. We were just talking about Rosaye, that we want to reduce ministries, MDAs, and everything.
And we had an additional ministry.
Then suddenly we are getting an additional one.
Livestock, Ministry of Livestock, when we already have an existing Ministry of Agriculture.
You see, you find out that we just keep going forward one step, 10 steps backward. We knew that. We have been talking about this thing for a very long time. Government has turned to management by objective. Even the people that gave us this kind of system, the British system, it has changed. How can you have a Ministry of Agriculture that cannot produce anything? That is not supporting farmers? How? And then every year, this ministry budget trillions of naira. We get grants from everywhere in the world. And yet, we don't have food enough to feed ourselves.
That's a national security issue on its own.
People don't, you see, that's another plain thing I'm talking about. People that shapes our security believe it's only for people who carry guns. They don't believe food itself is part of human security. Getting access to good housing is a security issue. Going to good school, getting quality education is a security issue. Because people who are not educated today have the problem of tomorrow. We don't look at security as a whole nation thing. We look at it as a military force thing. And that's where we get it wrong. Until people start looking at security from the whole picture angle, instead of just looking at the side. That when there's a problem, hey, you just come, Commissioner of Police, there's a problem in Dugbe. He will say, Governor, sir, just give us 50 million naira. We need to buy gun, we need to buy this, we need to buy that. That is not the solution. That is like, when we look at conflict, I always talk about it. Most of us look at the fruits. It's just like looking at the tree.
What about the seed?
You look at the fruit itself. That is what happened. When the tree has matured, is when it starts bearing fruit. The root of the tree is what is holding the tree down. If you remove all the fruit this year, without cutting that tree and pulling the root, this tree will be another fruit next year.
Definitely.
And the funny thing about trees is that the more older they are, the better fruit they get. So we don't look at the roots. What are the real issues? Where are the people on the street? Do you understand? We don't look at that. We look at the people on the street. What do we do about it? We don't look at, okay, how did we get here? What are the factors influencing people from living their day-to-day life and saying we want to protest? Nobody's looking at that. Nobody's addressing that. How do we go from being good Nigerian to being Nigerian that go and loot a kunu shop? Do you understand? We're not looking at it. I will tell you the fruit of this, the fruit that we are bearing today. I did my service in Yobe in 1995. And I saw poverty for the first time in my life. Because I had parents that sent me to school. I went to a good school. Then service came, they sent me to Yobe State. And I was in one of the desert area called Yusufari, like 10 kilometers from the J Republic. And I saw what is called real poverty. And I was scared.
For the first time.
For the first time in my life.
And it has multiplied probably
Imagine
100 times.
1995.
Until now, you can imagine the...
And there was no insurgency then.
Yes, there was no insurgency then.
Multi-dimensionally poor now. 150
You will
million
see people that are living and they have only 2 shirts. What they do is they have an everyday shirt that they wear, and then they have Friday shirt they wear. A man with a family, he has only 2. When he's working and the shirt gets stained, he goes to where to wash the shirt, he ties his wrapper, wash it, and wait under the tree for the shirt to dry.
So that I can put it on again.
They can put it on. They can't put on this Friday shirt on that day. Because immediately after prayer on Friday, he fold the Friday shirt again.
And keep it for
and
the
keep
next
it for
Friday.
the next Friday. That was 1995. And it was not just one place. I was able to move around in northern area of Nigeria and I see extreme poverty.
That's about 29 years ago.
Today we are here. We are still talking about poverty. And Yobe, that time you can move around. Today, there's no movement around like that. So imagine that man of 25 years ago. I'm sure that his 2 shirts now have been reduced to tattered one. If he still have anything covering his back. That man is a Nigerian. He has a right to life. He has the right to better condition of living. But this right have been denied them for a long time.
And coincidentally, that Yobe state is one of the states that curfew has been imposed because people started looting shops and
Now,
public facilities.
I ask myself a question every year. That what is our state doing about our people? They said there is no industrial development. I said, who want to invest in the state where the people of the state are not investing?
Interesting.
You are calling me to come and invest in Ibadan. You are calling me from abroad. Then I look at the statistics. How many small and middle level enterprises are there in Ibadan to support my company? They said 10. And you want me to bring a business of 50 billion to Ibadan? Does it make sense? Because there's a system in place that should support the industry.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't create this system, how will the industry come?
Is there a lack of vision?
It is, basically. People just sit there in their state and wait for allocation.
Okay. I got you. I got you.
Now, when the allocation comes, there is no percentage of it that is used for development of the people directly. Look, roads are beautiful. Building airports, building flyovers are lovely. But
Are they developing real time?
the money that we are talking about, is it going to stay within this our economy? I was reading about how the black people are losing out in America today. And what the man said is that every time money comes into the community, it doesn't stay within the black community. Immediately a black man gets $10 million, he goes and buys another white man's house for 8 million. This is called capital flight. Because if 10 million come into Oyo State today, and I stay within Oyo State, I buy a car from an Oyo man for 5 million out of it. That man take the 5 million and use it to buy something from another Oyo man.
The money is within.
The money is still within. That one still will use it to set up a shop for his wife. That 10 million can produce hundreds of millions if it's staying within transaction within Oyo State. But if 100 billion enters Oyo State today,
And you award contract.
and you award contract to somebody in Abuja, the man is going to bring the carpenter from Abuja, the bricklayer from Abuja. So all the funds that are supposed to stay within
The state.
within the state immediately is flying out, and it's called capital flight. You ask yourself why government is saying let's get government to the lowest level, so that these jobs can be given to people who are in the local government,
Trickle
people who
down.
are grounded.
Trickle down.
That is it. It doesn't trickle anywhere. When immediately it comes, we give it out to people who are not part of us. That is why all these French, Lebanese companies, all of them that are in Africa, they are exploiting us to the bone. Because our leaders don't understand this basic economic thing. That funds that is coming into the economy need to stay within the economy.
Within the economy.
All that they probably understand is I, me, and myself.
Everybody want to grow their family,
Not society.
not society.
That's tragic.
That's why somebody like my governor, my ex-governor in Kogi State, paid school fees for his children
Ahead of time.
who are not even in primary school yet.
The white lion.
And where is he paying the school to? An American school. So you see the English.
No, you will say he's investing for the future. of his kids.
That is a very good investment. That's what I'm just saying.
But he's investing
He
in
just show his psychology as a person. He show the way he thinks of us. I tell people that our challenge, it might not even be in government, the people themselves. I am from Akubo in Oyo State. And during the election before the last, I went to vote. The primary school I went to vote is called Akubo, Ibadan District Community Primary School,
IDC.
Akubo, IDC Akubo. I got in there, the classroom we are going to do the voting, if you see the deep hole in the middle of the classroom. So I wonder, I was not asking one of my colleagues that, how do these students stay in this school? He said they just manage. I said, where are they putting their desks and chair in this kind of big hole, the primary school? So then it now occurred to me that when we were growing up, that school used to be managed by the Akubo community. My father and some of the elders of the community, they have meeting every month. And they put funds together to support the school. When the school roof is broken down, they don't call government. They call the PTA. They call the community. It's a community school. But today, what have we done?
government everywhere.
All of us are taking our children to Valencia, to the big schools around. The money we are supposed to use to support the community school, we are paying to one big man to build a school for his family. And then, when me and them now go to this IDC, we now complain about the infrastructure there. I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
We do.
We as a people has left our responsibility to the community. We all think about me,
I and myself.
I, myself, and my family. And that is why I said we didn't ask ourselves, how did we get to this point? We got to this point because we've stopped being a community.
And we need to retrace our steps back.
Until we tell ourselves the truth. Until the government itself knew that this is the problem and replan the state around the community again. You cannot do it without the community. The only structure we had before that we used to respect, we used to go to when we have challenges, which is our fathers, our real father, have become so politicized that nobody even care about them again.
denigrated, ridiculed.
That used to be our rallying point. We don't have, as a nation, every nation always have a rallying point. They always have something to commonly look at together. We talked about the America, they will say, oh, the American Civil War brought them together to fight against themselves and then form a common identity. The Nigerian Civil War was fought between Igbo and Hausa, while the Yoruba were having party in Lagos.
Thank you so much, the Don
himself,
for your interventions this morning. But of course, I must say that the Don comes with quite some mileage. I mean, I haven't worked as a senior analyst in security in the State House, the presidency, Abuja, of course, and other levels too of, of course, he is a mediator. You had that beyond immediate the security, of course, he is a mediator. And of course, a product of Nigeria's premier university, under the likes of Professor Albert Olawale and the others. Thank you so much.
Greatest you white. Greatest forever. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Don Michael Adeniji, for being a part of the program this morning. We really appreciate it, and we hope that when we call on you once again, you will oblige our invitation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Anytime,
much.
sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's the wrap for today. It's been an extended version of from the dailies today. I mean, we're getting up for the weekend, and let's hope that the day 2 protest won't be as violent and there won't be loss of lives today. Comrade AYODEJI.
Yeah, it's a wrap on AM Updates. Well, do have a splendid weekend and enjoy yourselves, but do things decently.
I'll be leaving you in the hands of the music of Fela Nicola Pokuti, which coincidentally turns 27 years today that he left. He died on the 2nd of August, 1997. So we pray that his soul continues to rest in perfect peace. Bye for now. My name is AJISOPE LAFENWA, wishing every one of us a very splendid weekend. Good morning once again.
No agreement today, no agreement tomorrow.
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 I no go giri, make my brother hungry, make her not talk. I no go giri, make my brother homeless, make her not talk. My grandpapa talk, your grandpapa talk, my papa talk, your papa talk, my mama talk, your mama talk. Those ways not talk, them they see. I no go giri, make my brother hungry, make her not talk. I no go giri, make my brother homeless, make her not talk. No agreement today, no agreement tomorrow. No agreement now, later, never, never, never. No agreement, never. No agreement, never. No agreement